Hello everyone. In today's tutorial, you will learn how to format your SSD, hard drive, or a USB flash drive and create a partition to use with your Mac. In this tutorial, I will use Samsung Portable SSD T7. I need to format the drive before I can use it with my MacBook Pro. First, we will go through the formatting process and then you will learn how to partition your SSD, hard drive, or USB flash drive. There are some good reasons why you may want to partition your internal or external drive. The first reason is to run different operating systems on your Mac. The second reason is to back up your files efficiently. You may want to keep your files and photos on one partition and keep all your work-related files on another one. The third reason is to detect and fix common Mac problems easily and quickly. For example, if you have an issue with your MacBook, you can start from a different partition with macOS installed and repair your device. I will also briefly go through the different file system formats and explain the difference between case-sensitive and case-insensitive. Let's start. First, you need to connect your SSD, hard drive, or flash drive to your Mac computer, a laptop, or a desktop. My SSD is connected to my MacBook Pro. As soon as you connect your SSD to your computer, you should see its drive icon on your screen. If you don't see the icon, go to the Finder menu. If you can see the Finder menu, click on the desktop or your screen. And from the Finder menu, select Preferences. Make sure the general icon is selected. Here, there are some options. If the external disks option is selected, your drive icon will appear on your desktop. You can see the icon here. If it's not checked, you won't see it. Check the external disks to make your SSD or flash drive icon appear on the screen. I will close this window. Next, I want to format my SSD drive. Before formatting it, I'll make sure I don't have any important documents or applications on the drive. Formatting will delete all your files in one go. Samsung T7 comes with its security software. I don't need it. However, it's a good idea to keep a copy of it. There are 2 files and 1 application. I will copy them into this folder in case I need them in the future. To format this SSD drive, I will use Apple Disk Utility. Go to the Spotlight search, type in Disk Utility, and press Enter to launch it. The Disk Utility application is in your Utilities folder in your Applications folder. Once the disk utility is launched, go to the left sidebar. Click the View menu and select Show All Devices. Make sure to choose your external drive. This is my internal drive and this is my external drive. Click on the highest drive. In my case, it is Samsung SSD T7. Now click on the Erase button and it will take you to the following dialog box. Here I need to choose a name for my external SSD drive. I'll type in SSD. You can name it whatever you want. For the format type, I will select macOS Extended Journal. For the scheme, I'll choose the GUID partition map, which stands for Globally Unique Identifiers. When you click on the Format drop-down menu, you will see different file system formats. I will go through these formats and provide a brief explanation. APFS stands for Apple File System. It is the latest file system optimized for SSD or flash drives. APFS encrypted makes your Mac more secure, but it will run slightly slower than usual, especially if you have an older Mac. APFS case sensitive. This format is sensitive to file and folder names in uppercase or lowercase letters. I will explain it in more detail in a minute. APFS case sensitive encrypted. macOS Extended Journal. This is the one I need to make my external drive bootable. Once the formatting process is completed, I can install macOS third-party applications and my files on my external drive. macOS Extended Journal encrypted. I don't need it. macOS Extended Case Sensitive Journal. macOS Extended Case Sensitive Journal encrypted. I don't need this one either. MS-DOS FAT and exFAT are Windows compatible file system formats. I don't use any of these formats either. Now, I will explain the difference between case-sensitive and case-insensitive. Case-sensitive means that your operating system recognizes the difference between two files or folders with the same name in uppercase and lowercase letters. Therefore, it allows you to keep the taxes file in uppercase and the taxes file in lowercase letters in the same folder. The file system thinks taxes and taxes are two different files. Case insensitive means that your operating system doesn't recognize the difference between files named taxes in uppercase letters and taxes in lowercase letters. As a result, you cannot keep these two files in the same folder. Your file system thinks these files are the same. Therefore, It displays a warning and forces you to change one of the file names. Before clicking the erase button, I'll make sure that everything is okay. From the left, Samsung Portable SSD T7 is selected. This one is okay. The format type is macOS Extended Journal, and the scheme type is GUID Partition Map. Everything seems to be okay. I'll click the erase button. The SSD is being erased now. Okay. Do you want to use SSD to backup with Time Machine? No, I don't use it. If you are unsure what you are doing, click Decide later. I don't use Time Machine. I click Don't Use. Next, click Done. My Samsung T7 external drive has been formatted. It's ready to be used by macOS. I can now install macOS third-party applications and my files on this drive, or use it just for backup purposes. Next, I will partition my SSD into 3 sections or containers for more convenience. Let's get started. To partition your SSD or hard disk drive, click on the partition icon. The blue circle shows the capacity of my external drive. In my case, it is 500 gigabytes, and I want to divide it into 3 sections or containers based on my needs. To create a partition, first click on the plus icon. It will be automatically divided into 2 sections. Each section is 250 gigabytes. I want to increase the size of one section to 300 gigabytes. So I will click on the small circle and drag it clockwise until it reaches 300 gigabytes. I want to keep an exact copy of my internal drive contents on this partition. If I get into trouble, I can start from my external drive and continue to use my MacBook as usual. Next, I will make another partition for my regular backups. I want to have a simple backup system. I will click on the plus button. It will automatically create 99.7 gigabytes. But I need 175 gigabytes. So I will click on the small circle and drag it clockwise until it reaches 175 gigabytes. Or you can type 175 in the size box. You can also choose a name for each partition. I'll do it later. Now I have 24.5 gigabytes. I want to keep the macOS installers such as Big Sur or Monterey on this partition. In the case of a disaster or a slow internet connection, I can use the installer on this partition to reinstall macOS on one or even several computers. I will click Apply, click Partition, wait for a short time, and click Done. Disk utility created three partitions. I need to rename these partitions according to my needs. I'll change the SSD to clone. I will keep an exact copy of my internal drive contents on this partition. For this purpose, you need to use a cloning application. The middle one is over 24 gigabytes. I'll keep the macOS installer on this one. So I changed the untitled to OS installer. The bottom one has 175 gigabytes. I want to use it to keep copies of my backups. So I'll rename it Backup. Now you know how to partition your external drive. I hope you found this tutorial useful. I would appreciate it if you could click on the subscribe button to encourage me to make more tutorials for you. Thanks for watching.